There she is.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, sweetie.
Brian, where you going?
Hi, Tilly.
You're cute.
You're cute too. Look at Lydia's face.
You're a doll. Oh, oh my. Everybody's cute. Even you. You're a pretty boy. Well, I'm so glad you all come to be with me today. And it's all the same old jokes, so you better laugh. Now, let's see, I'll turn this way. My name is Matilda Uberschutz. You can call me Tilly. And I can't remember them all, so I have to read. My last name is German. My daddy was a dairy farmer, and the name Uberschutz means overshoot, as in miss the bucket. It does my heart good to see your smiling faces. You're all so handsome and pretty, and you all love me, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a little history about my life. I was born in 1937 in Oklahoma City, and I went to the largest consolidated grade school of the United States. Really, I did. And then I went to Harding College, graduated from college in 1961, and then in 1962, I got the highest degree of the land, a CPDS degree. I'll read you here's my diploma. Fellows of the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools has hereby done conferred on Jane Whiteman the highest we has, the CPS degree, Chief Professor of Diddley Squat, with all the rights and privileges thereof, blah, 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 blah. And I got my first MRS in 1958. And I got my second MRS in 2017. I guess you know I'm married. He insists on wearing the pants, but I've got the brains. The other day we had a fight, and when we have a fight, it's always his fault. He was in here watching TV, and I was in the kitchen, and I yelled out here, I said, "What's on the TV?" He says, "Dust." This says over. Oh. One day I told Richard, I feel horrible. I'm old, and I'm fat, and I'm ugly, and I really need you to pay me a compliment. He says, your eyesight is absolutely perfect. Okay. Well, we was having trouble with our memory. So we went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, it just goes with old age. You might try writing things down. So that night I asked him, would you go get me a bowl of ice cream? He says, yeah. And I said, write it down or you'll forget. He says, no, you want a bowl of ice cream? I said, well, I want strawberries on it too. And he says, okay, I got it. You want a bowl of ice cream and you want strawberries on it too. And I said, you better write it down. He says, no, I got it. And I said, well, I want whipped cream on it too. And you need to write all that down. He says, I got it. So he goes to the kitchen. In about 10 minutes, he brings me a plate of bacon and eggs. And I said, I told you to write it down. Where's the toast? I always did want to live life in the fast lane, but I married a speed bump. He's not even listening. Oh, this last Halloween, I found a real scary costume. I went as my driver's license picture. Well, I'm getting a little older. It takes me twice as long to get myself looking half as good anymore. And everything slows down with age, except for the time it takes that chocolate cake to reach my hips. And I have flabby thighs, but luckily my stomach covers them. There was this girl that was expecting twins, and she was on the way to the hospital to have her babies, and she had a car wreck, and she had her head was hit, and she was unconscious for 5 days. When she woke up, the doctor told her, you have a beautiful boy and a beautiful girl. She says, oh, that's wonderful. He says, now in our state, we must name the baby within 24 hours. It's a law. It's the law. So we looked in your purse and we found your brother's phone number. We called him and he named your babies. She says, oh no, what did he name them? He said, well, he named the girl Denise. She says, well, now that's a beautiful name. I couldn't have done any better. She says, what did he name the boy? The nephew. This guy went on vacation, and he stayed at a fancy motel, and out in the lobby there was a sign, Bob and Grace's barbershop, shave and haircut. Well, the next morning he went down and he asked for a shave, and Grace, the lady, she said, well, Bob's homesick today, but I'd be glad to shave you. And he says, what's the charge? She said, $50. He says, that's kind of steep, isn't it? She says, I guarantee you that you will like the shave that I give you. So he paid the $50. She shaved him. Well, the next morning he got up and went in the bathroom to shave. He didn't need to shave. And it was the same way all week. He didn't have to shave all week. So the day before he left, he went in the barber shop and he says, what did you do when you shaved me? She says, well, sir, you have been shaved by Grace. Once shaved, always shaved. I went to the doctor the other day. He told me I needed to get in shape. And I said, I'll have you know I'm in shape. Round is a shape. But that's not what I came for. I can't hear out of this ear. I can't hear a thing. Well, he looked in my ear and he says, you've got a suppository stuck in your ear. And I said, oh, now I know where I put my hearing aid. And see, being over the hill is better than being under it.
Yeah, I agree.
Richard forgot our last anniversary. And I was mad. I said, tomorrow morning, I expect to see out in the driveway a gift that'll go from 0 to 206 seconds, and it'd better be there. Well, the next morning I got up and I looked out the window, and there's this gift wrapped box out in the driveway. I went out and opened it, and it was some bathroom scales. I taught chemistry some in my career, and I asked my class, did you know that protons have mass? And some kid says, well, I didn't even know they were Catholic. I had a son. His name was Lewis. This is a true story. One time his daughter Frankie Ann came to him, and she said, there's a neighbor at the door and he wants to borrow a screwdriver. Lewis said, Flathead or Phillips? She says, I don't know, I didn't ask him for his name. One time when our 3 kids were little, we took a trip to Kansas City. That's where I lived as a teenager. And Francis grew up out in the sticks on a farm in West Virginia. And I wanted them to see something of what the big city was like. So we go in the Macy's store. And Julie and Amy and I went off to look at the jewelry. And Lewis was with Francis. Well, they come across this place where there was 2 steel doors. And they came open like that. And there was a little tiny room in there with no windows or anything. And then they slid. And then up above the doors, there was these lights. It's 1, and then it lit up 2 and 3 until it got clear up to 14. And then the numbers started going backwards. Well, this real old, ugly, fat woman in a wheelchair rolled up to those doors, and she pushed a little button by the side. The doors came open, she rolled in, and the doors shut, and we watched those little lights again going up, and came back down to 1. The doors opened, and this beautiful, slim, blonde lady walked out. Francis says, son, go get your mother. You know, Lewis always brightened our family. He never turned out any lights. Once when we lived at Bearville, West Virginia, Francis was preaching there, and I was in the kitchen trying to get the ketchup out of the bottle. And I was having a hard time getting the ketchup out of the bottle. The phone rang. So I asked Lewis to answer it. And he answered, and then he yelled at me, it's one of the deacons, Mom. And I just said like that, you know, and then he turned around and he told the deacon, Mom can't come to the phone right now, she's hitting the bottle. One thing I teach is home ec. And I always like to give tips for entertaining to my students. When you host a dinner party, it's essential that all the placemats match, or at least they're all from the same fast food place. And take shortcuts. I used to give my guests instant coffee, but they kept whining for hot water, so I quit that. And it's the better you cook, it's more than likely that your guests will want to come back. So that's why I'm not very hot in the kitchen. But you know, lots of folks have eaten it at my house, and they've gone on to live a normal life. And last but not least, I always told my home ec students, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. Remember that. If that's true, that makes me fast, easy, and cheap. On our last anniversary, we had a great day. People, well-wishers coming by, wishing us happy anniversary. Well, that evening, we were both tired, and we were in our recliners, and Richard says, I'm proud of you. And I said, you know I can't hear you, speak up. And he says, I'm proud of you. And I still wasn't sure what he said, so I said, well, that's okay, I'm tired of you too. And Laura asked me one day, Mima, would you make a noise like a frog? And I said, a noise like a frog? Why? She said, well, Laramie says when you croak, we can go to Disneyland. Well, I guess that's it. But you know, my daddy, Emery Uberschutz, gave me some advice once. He says, if you ever get a chance to keep your mouth shut, take it.
Good job, Taylor.
You next, Landon? Landon, you gonna do stand up?
You got
You
some
are?
jokes?
You got some jokes?
Hello.
He's like,
He's coming. I want to get one picture with us. He said he's.
oh, there you go.
Okay.
Awesome.